He gave his last piece of bread to a friend who was starving, thinking friendship was forever. But the very next day that same friend walked past him as though he had never existed. I'm writing this at 3 a.m. because I can't sleep anymore. Haven't been able to for 3 weeks now. My hands are shaking as I type this, but I need to get it out. Maybe someone reading this will learn from my stupidity. Maybe they'll make better choices than I did. Her name was Sarah. We'd been together for 6 years. 6 years of building, making plans, talking about kids in a house with a white picket fence. She trusted me completely. That's what makes this so much worse. It started with a text message from my college buddy Marcus. Dude, have to meet my coworker Emma. She's perfect for. I should have deleted it right there. Should have told him I was taken happy building something real. Instead I sent back a laughing emoji and said, I'm engaged, remember? But Marcus kept pushing. Just as friends, man. We're all out Friday night. Sarah's working late again anyway, right? That's the thing that gets me now. Sarah Bess working late. She'd been putting in overtime for months, saving for our wedding, for our future. While she was sacrificing her free time for us, I was making the worst decision of my. Friday came. Sarah me goodbye that morning, told me she loved me, reminded me to eat dinner cause I forget when she's not around. I promised her I'd just stay home, maybe play some games, nothing special. The bar was loaded. Exactly the kind of place I used to love before Sarah taught me that quiet evenings together were better than any party. Emma was there when I arrived, laughing at something Marcus said. She had this energy, this spark that reminded me of who I used to be in college. While free. So the famous engaged guy, she said when Marcus introduced us. The way she said, engaged, made it sound like a disease. 3 drinks in, I was telling her about how Sarah and I barely talked anymore except about wedding planning and mortgage rates. How we'd become boring. How sometimes I missed feeling alive. 5 drinks in, Emma's hand was on my arm when she laughed. Her perfume was different from Sarah's, sharper, more dangerous. 7 drinks in, I was in her apartment. I won't go into details because they don't matter and I'm not that person anymore. But I woke at sunrise in a stranger's bed, with my phone buzzing with good morning texts from the woman I was supposed to marry in 4 months. Ope, slept well baby. Can't wait to see tonight. Love so much. I right there on Emma's bathroom floor. The drive home was the longest 20 minutes of my. Every red light felt like judgment. Every mile marker was another chance to turn around and pretend it never happened. But can't undo betrayal. Can't take back the moment, become the villain in someone else's story. Sarah was in the kitchen making pancakes when I walked in, still wearing yesterday's clothes, reeking of guilt and someone else's perfume. She looked with that smile that used to make my whole day, and I watched it fade in real time as she took in my appearance. Where were? Simple question. Loaded with 6 years of trust that was about to. I could have lied. Should have lied maybe. Told her I crashed at Marcus's place that we got to and I didn't want to drive. But looking at her face, at the woman who'd stood by me through job losses and family drama and my dad's cancer scare, I couldn't add lies to betrayal. I messed Sarah. I messed bad. The pancakes burned while I told her everything. She didn't cry at first. Just stood there, spatula in hand, staring at me like I was a stranger who'd broken into her house and was speaking a foreign language. Then she started laughing, not happy laughing, the kind of laughing that comes right before a complete breakdown. 6 years, she said, still laughing, tears starting now. 6 years I've been planning with someone who doesn't exist. She the spatula at me, it hit my chest and left a mark that stayed for days. I deserved worse. Get out, she whispered. Then louder, TrueOffMy house isn't even her house. It was ours. We'd picked it out together, argued over paint colors, made love in every room. But in that moment it became hers and I became the intruder. I packed a bag while she called her sister. I could hear her crying, could hear her sister cursing my name in the background. The sound of Sarah's world falling apart because of my selfishness will haunt me forever. As I was leaving, she said one last thing. I gave everything. My whole heart, my whole future. I did away for what? A stranger. I didn't have an answer then. I don't have one now. Marcus texted me later that day. How'd it go with Emma? She said guys had fun. I blocked his number. Some friends aren't friends at all. They're just people who enjoy watching destroy. That was 3 weeks ago. I'm living in a studio apartment that smells like the previous tenant's cigarettes. The wedding venue called yesterday asking about final headcount. I had to explain that there wouldn't be a wedding. The coordinator was professional, but I could hear the judgment in her voice. Sarah won't answer my calls. Her sister to get a restraining order if I didn't stop trying. Our mutual friends have chosen sides and surprise, nobody chose mine. The engagement ring I spent 3 months' salary on is sitting in a pawn shop somewhere, probably on some other couple's finger by now. I keep thinking about that night, trying to pinpoint the exact moment I could have turned around. When Marcus first texted. When I got dressed to go out. When I ordered that first drink. When Emma touched my arm. There were 1,000 exit ramps, and I blew past every single one. The worst part isn't the empty apartment or the friends who won't return my calls. It's knowing that somewhere out there, the best person I've ever known is trying to rebuild her around the hole I left in it. She's having to explain to people why the wedding's cancelled, having to return gifts, having to start over at 28 because I couldn't keep it together for one night. Emma texted me yesterday, want to grab dinner sometime. I deleted it without responding. She doesn't understand that she wasn't the point. The point was that I had everything I'd ever wanted, and I traded it for nothing. For the illusion of being young and free and again. Some mistakes can fix. Some apologies work. Some trust can be rebuilt. This isn't one of those times. I gave my whole heart to someone, thinking love was forever, but the very next day I became someone she could never recognize, walking through her like I had never existed at all. It's been 2 months now. I thought the worst was behind me after Sarah kicked me out. I was wrong. So incredibly wrong. The unraveling happened fast like dominoes falling in slow motion while watch helplessly. Sarah's sister posted it first. A long Facebook post about supporting my sister through the hardest time of her. With just enough detail that anyone with half a brain could figure out what happened. No names mentioned, but she tagged Sarah and Sarah's profile still showed gauged. And had photos of us together going back years. Within hours the comment section became my personal. Wet, isn't that the guy who works at Morrison Tech? Yes, I went to high school with him. Always seemed like player. Sarah deserves so much better. She's such a sweet girl. My coworker Jenny brought it Monday morning. Saw the post about Sarah, doing okay. The concern in her voice made my skin crawl. By lunch the entire office knew. By Wednesday my boss called me in for a wellness check. That was really just him making sure my personal drama wasn't going to affect my work. But the real twist came from my mom. She called me crying, which should have been my first warning. Mom never cries on the phone. Father and I got a call from Sarah's mother, she said between sobs. She told us everything. How could do this to that sweet girl? How could do this to us? That's when it hit me. I hadn't just destroyed my relationship with Sarah. I destroyed my parents' relationship with her family. They'd been planning our wedding together, talking about grandkids, becoming real friends. Sarah's parents had invited mine to their anniversary party last year. Now they wouldn't even look at each other at the grocery store. We raised better than this. Mom continued. Sarah's mother is devastated. She said Sarah hasn't eaten a real meal in weeks, that she cries herself to sleep every night. What kind of monster did I raise? Monster. My own mother called me a monster. Dad wouldn't even talk to me. Just took the phone and hung. The shame followed me everywhere. Church became impossible because Sarah's family went there too. The gym was out because half our friend group worked out there. Even the coffee shop we used to go to every Sunday felt like enemy territory. I tried online dating after a month. Thought maybe I could meet someone new, start fresh. Every conversation died the same way. So why did last relationship end? I tried different answers. We grew apart. It just wasn't working. We wanted different things. But this town is small, and apparently my reputation had spread. 3 different women told me they'd heard stories and weren't interested. The 4th one was more direct. My friend knows ex. She said cheated on her right before wedding. Is that true? I closed the dating app that night and haven't opened it since. Work became a nightmare. Not because anyone was mean to me directly, but because of the silence. The way conversations stopped when I walked into the break room. The way I stopped getting invited to happy hour or birthday parties. I became a ghost in my own. But the worst part was running into our mutual friends. I saw Danny at the hardware store 6 weeks after everything fell apart. We'd been tight since college, stood in each other's weddings, spent countless weekends together as couples. When he saw me his face went stone cold. Danny, hey man, I said trying to sound normal. Don't. He shook his head. Just don't. Sarah's like a sister to Katie. What did to her? There's no coming back from that. He walked away without another word. 15 years of friendship gone. The grocery store became a strategic mission. I had to time my trips perfectly to avoid Sarah's schedule, her friends' schedules, anyone who might recognize me and make a scene. I started driving to the next town over just to buy milk without judgment. 2 months in, I made the mistake of going to our old favorite restaurant. The hostess recognized me immediately. Table for 2 tonight. She asked with a smile that faded when she saw us alone. Just one, mumbled. Oh. The realization hit her face. I haven't seen Sarah in a while. Is she okay? Everyone loved Sarah. That was the problem. She was the kind of person who remembered birthday, who brought soup when we're sick, who listened to problems at 2 a.m. without complaint. I wasn't just the guy who cheated. I was the guy who broke the heart of the town's sweetheart. The hostess seated me in the back corner, the table we used to call the reject section, when we'd make fun of awkward first dates. Now I was the awkward loner everyone pitied. My phone buzzed constantly with blocked numbers. Sarah's friends weren't done with me yet, or pathetic. She's better off without, hope it was worth it. The messages came at random times 3 a.m. during meetings while I was trying to eat. Each one was like a paper cut, small but impossible to ignore. I changed my number twice. They found the new one both times. Social media became a minefield. Sarah had blocked me, but I could still see her through mutual friends' posts. Photos of girls' nights out. Sarah trying to smile but looking hollow around the eyes. Her sister posting motivational quotes about strong women who don't need men. Sarah's mom sharing articles about rebuilding after betrayal. I deactivated everything. What was the point? Every post would just remind people of what I'd done. The isolation was suffocating. Weekends stretched endlessly with nowhere to go and no one to see. I started working extra hours just to avoid the empty apartment. But even my coworkers had started treating me differently. Professional but distant. Like I might be contagious. 3 months after that night, I ran into Sarah at Target. She was in the shampoo aisle, looking thinner than I remembered, her hair shorter. She saw me before I could escape and froze like a deer in headlights. For a moment neither of us moved. Then she grabbed her cart and started walking away fast. Sarah, wait. I called out, not caring who heard. She stopped but didn't turn around. Don't, please just don't. I'm sorry, I said to her back. I know it doesn't mean anything now but I'm sorry. She turned then, and the look in her eyes destroyed me. Not anger, not sadness. Nothing. Like she was looking at a stranger who'd mistaken her for someone else. I know she said quietly. But sorry doesn't give me back the I was building. Sorry doesn't explain to my grandmother why there's no wedding. Sorry doesn't make me stop jumping every time my phone buzzes, thinking it might be another one of friends telling me what a fool I was. She paused and I could see her gathering strength for what came next. 6 years believing in someone who didn't exist. Don't ask me to waste another second on guilt. She walked her way, and I stood there in the shampoo aisle like and surrounded by families doing normal weekend shopping, living normal lives that I'd forfeited the right to. An old lady with a cart full of cat food looked at me with disgust. Shame on, she muttered as she passed. She didn't even know who I was, but somehow she knew exactly what I'd done. That night, I looked in the bathroom mirror for the first time in weeks. Really looked. I'd lost weight, gained dark circles under my eyes, developed a permanent splotch like I was trying to disappear into. I looked like what I was a man who'd traded everything for nothing and was finally understanding the true cost. The worst part wasn't losing Sarah. It was realizing that in destroying her trust I'd destroyed too. The person I used to be, the one who could walk into a room with confidence, who had friends and family who respected him, who belonged somewhere, that person was gone forever. I gave everything I had to someone who loved me completely, thinking I could take it back if I got caught, but when the whole world found out, I discovered that some things, once broken, can never be put back together again. It's been a year now. A full year since I destroyed the best thing in my for a few hours of feeling important to a stranger. I'm writing this final update from a different state. I had to leave. Not because anyone forced me to, but because staying meant watching Sarah rebuild her, while I rotted in the shadows of mine. The breaking point came 6 months ago. I was at the grocery store, the one in the next town over where I thought I was safe, when I heard a familiar laugh from the next aisle. My went cold. That wasn't Sarah's laugh, but I knew it. I peered around the corner and saw her. Sarah, but she wasn't alone, she was with a man I didn't recognize. Tall, kind smile, pushing the cart while she checked items off a list. They moved together like people who belong together, comfortable in that way that takes time to develop. He said something that made her laugh again, and the sound hit me like a physical. I hadn't heard her laugh in over 2 years, not the real one, the one that used to be mine. Then I saw it. The ring on her finger. Different from the one I'd given her, simpler. But the way she wore it, the way she unconsciously twisted it when she was thinking, was exactly the same. She'd moved on. Of course she had. Beautiful, kind, intelligent Sarah had found someone who deserved her. Someone who wouldn't throw away 6 years for a meaningless night with a stranger. I should have been happy for her. A better man would have been happy for her. Instead I followed them. I kept my distance 3 aisles back, watching them shop for what looked like a dinner party. Fancy cheese, the kind of bread she only bought for special occasions. She was glowing in a way I'd never seen even during our best times. They were loading groceries into a car I didn't recognize when I heard her say, "I can't wait for to meet my parents tonight. They're gonna love." Her parents. The same parents who used to invite me to Sunday dinners, who'd helped me pick out her engagement ring, who'd called me son. Now they were meeting her replacement, probably thrilled that their daughter had finally found a good man. I sat in my car in that parking lot for 2 hours after they left, crying like I hadn't cried since the day she me out. That night, I did something I'm not proud of. I drove past her house. It was lit like Christmas, cars in the driveway I recognized from our old together. Her parents' Honda, her sister Suvi, her best friend Katie's Jeep. They were all there, meeting the new guy, celebrating Sarah's second chance at happiness. Through the window I could see them at the dinner table. Sarah was animated, gesturing with her hands the way she did when she told stories. Everyone was laughing, leaning in, clearly charmed by whatever she was saying. The new guy had his arm around the back of her chair, not possessive but protective, like he understood what a treasure he was holding. I realized I was holding my breath, waiting for someone to mention me. Waiting for Sarah to tell the story of her first engagement, the cautionary tale of the man who'd all away. But why would she? Why would she this perfect evening with the memory of me? I was a ghost story now, a brief nightmare she'd woken from. I drove home and started packing that night. Moving to a different state was supposed to be a fresh start. New job, new apartment, new people who didn't know my story. For a few months it almost worked. I could introduce without seeing recognition and disgust flash across faces. I could go to bars without wondering if someone might know Sarah's cousin's friend. But can't run from. The new job was fine. My coworkers were nice enough. I even went on a few dates with women who didn't know about my past. But every relationship hit the same wall. Tell me about longest relationship. She'd ask and I'd have to decide how much truth to share. If I said 6 years they wanted details. If I lied and said 2 years they wondered why I couldn't commit. If I told the truth about what I'd done, they found reasons to end things quickly. One woman, Jessica, lasted 3 months before I told her about Sarah. We were lying in bed after our best date yet, talking about the future, and she asked why I'd never been married. I was engaged once, I said. I messed it badly. How badly, she asked, and something in her voice told me she already knew the answer. I told her everything. The whole pathetic story from start to finish. She listened without interrupting, her face getting harder with every detail. When I finished she was quiet for a long time. Do still love her, she finally asked. Yes, I said, because lying seemed worse than the truth at that point. Then this was never going to work. Jessica said, getting out of bed and starting to gather her clothes. We're not looking for a relationship, we're looking for a time machine. She was right. Every woman I met got measured against Sarah. Every laugh got compared to Sarah's. Every smile seemed dimmer than hers. Every touch felt wrong because it wasn't hers. I was trapped in love with a ghost, with the memory of someone who'd moved on completely. The holidays were the worst. Christmas, our anniversary date, her birthday. I'd catch buying things she would have liked, planning conversations we'd never have, missing someone who'd forgotten I existed. Last month, I made the mistake of looking her online. She'd gotten married, the photos were public, shared by dozens of mutual friends I'd lost. Sarah in a simple white dress, radiant, laughing as her new husband dipped her for their first dance, her parents crying happy tears, her sister giving a speech about how proud she was to welcome such a good man into their family. The comments were full of people saying they'd never seen Sarah so happy, that she deserved this joy after everything she'd been through. Someone wrote, so glad she found her person after that whole mess with her ex. That whole mess. 6 years of my reduced to a footnote in someone else's happy ending. I closed the laptop and didn't open it for a week. But the image haunted me. Sarah spinning in her wedding dress, glowing with the kind of happiness I'd stolen from her once and could never give her again. She looked like someone who'd survived something terrible and come out stronger. I looked like someone who'd caused something terrible and never recovered. That's when I finally understood what I'd really done that night with Emma. It wasn't just cheating. It wasn't just breaking trust. I'd the person I used to be. The man who could make Sarah laugh, who she trusted with her whole heart, who had a family and friends and a place in the world. That person died the moment I walked into Emma's apartment, and what crawled out was this hollow thing wearing his face. Some people cheat and get forgiven. Some people cheat and rebuild. Some people cheat and learn and grow and become better. I cheated and became nothing. I think about that night constantly. If I could go back, if I could grab that version of and shake him until he understood what he was about to lose. But time doesn't work that way. Don't get do-overs for the moments that matter most. The worst part is knowing that somewhere out there, Sarah is living the we planned together with someone who deserves it. She's probably thinking about kids now, or buying a house or planning anniversary trips. All the dreams we shared, she's making them real with someone else. And somewhere else, Emma is probably telling her friends about the engaged guy she hooked with once, not knowing or caring that she helped destroy 2 lives that night. I'm 31 now. I live alone in a city where nobody knows my name. I go to work, come home, watch Netflix, and pretend this is worth living. Some nights I think about reaching out, writing Sarah a letter, telling her how sorry I am and how glad I am that she found happiness. But I never do. The kindest thing I can give her is my absence, the final gift from the man who gave her nothing but pain. People always say that everyone deserves a second chance, that everyone deserves love and forgiveness and redemption. Maybe that's true for most people. Maybe that's true for people who make smaller mistakes, fixable mistakes. But some of us make choices so catastrophically, so fundamentally selfish, that we forfeit the right to happy endings. Some of us become cautionary tales instead of love stories. I gave my heart to the most beautiful person I've ever known, thinking love meant she'd wait forever no matter what I did. But the moment I betrayed that love, I became exactly what I deserved to be. A stranger she used to know, walking through my empty like I had never truly lived at all.